Welcome to Bendable Body's 30-minute workout. I'm John. Each exercise we'll do today, we'll spend about a minute, minute and a half. Take your own time, go at your own pace, only do what you can do. And here we go. We're going to start with our hamstrings, okay? So my left leg is a target leg. I'm going to go to the starting position, kick my heel back to contract my hamstring. My hand's there to feel the contraction. And I'm going to sit back and lengthen my hamstring while I contract it. Okay, let's do that again. Go back to the starting position, kick my heel back. And relax, go back to starting position, kick your heel back. Now this is stretching our central hamstring. You might notice that I'm getting a better start position each time as my knee starts more forward of my foot. Okay. Just about 2 or 3 more reps. And the beginning of the stretch is the most important, so you want to contract before you start to move. Okay, great. Let's switch legs. Now we're going to stretch our right central hamstring. Start position, kick my heel back, contract, keep the contraction while we lengthen. Okay? Kick your heel back. Keep the contraction while you lengthen, and then we'll get our hamstring stretched here. Kick your heel back, contract and lengthen. Kick your heel back, contract and lengthen. If you feel like you have to move your front foot to a different position, go right ahead, because after you do a few reps in one position, you'll need to go to a different part of the muscle group to stretch it. Okay? Just 2 or 3 more reps here. You'll also notice that your back leg naturally wants to come forward when you kick your front heel back, creating a scissor effect. Okay, great. So we just warmed up our central hamstrings a little bit. Now we're going to balance that out by stretching our hip flexor on the front of our leg. So we'll do that with our target muscle is going to be the left hip flexor. So that's going to be the down leg here. I'm going to start the stretch by kicking my heel and foot down into the ground and driving my leg forward. This is all going to contract, and while I do that, keep the contraction, and we're going to lengthen. Relax, come to the starting position, kick my left foot and lower leg down into the ground. That's going to produce a contraction here. You can all feel that. Keep that contraction while you lengthen. Great. Let's do that again. Kick my foot down, my lower leg down. This is contracting, and as I move forward, this all stretches in here, okay? Kick down with your lower leg. Keep kicking down while you stretch and lengthen your central quad, your hip flexor. Kick down. And most people notice this tires out more quickly than your hamstrings do. So we'll just do 1 or 2 more reps here. Okay. Remember, the start position is important. Kick your lower leg down to produce a contraction here. Drive your leg forward. Cool. Let's switch legs. Going to stretch our right hip flexor. Again, driving my foot and lower leg down into the ground. Leg wants to come forward. It's being stopped by the ground. And I'm stretching while I contract. Go back to the starting position. Drive down my lower leg, contract and move forward. You might also notice you're breathing a little heavier with the hip flexor stretch than you were on the hamstring stretch. Here we go. Kick my lower leg down into the ground, drive my knee forward, and stretch. Here we go. Drive your lower leg down. You might also feel like you have more sensation on the front of your legs than you do your back. Generally, that's because we have less dense tissue in the front of our leg than we do in our hamstrings. Okay? Let's drive our lower leg down again. One more time. Drive forward. Okay, there we go. Now what we'll do is we'll go back to our hamstring stretch, see how it's changed. Do a few more reps on each leg. So target muscles, left leg hamstring. Start forward. I notice I'm in a more comfortable position. I'm getting lower, my body to my knee. Kick back. Stretch. I have a little more force also to exert. Okay. And I can feel my hamstrings a little more this time around. Okay, here we go. Go at your own pace. You can go a little slower, a little faster, whichever you feel comfortable with. You can change speeds. You can vary the levels of tension or resistance that you use. Okay, we'll switch legs. Here we go. Right hamstring, start position, kick your heel back, keep kicking back and lengthen. Okay, here we go. Drive our heel back, contract our hamstring. There we go. Start position, kick your heel back, contract your hamstring, kick back, keep the contraction while you stretch. You don't have to go back as far as I am. As long as you contract in the beginning and move a little bit, that hamstring's stretching and you're going to get a nice little change. So kick back again and lengthen. Kick back and lengthen. Great. So now we've warmed up our hamstrings. We got a nice stretch in our hip flexors. And we're going to move into our upper body. We're going to stretch the muscles in our chest. It's going to be like a reverse push-up. Okay? So I'm going to do it off of my knees. My hands are going to be pushing down into the mat and pulling together, but they're not going to move. But that's going to be our resistance and our contraction. So I'm pushing down and together with my hands, and as I push together with my hands, I lower my body and my biceps and chest are tensing and stretching. And I come back up, start again, pull my hands together to produce a contraction in my biceps and my chest, and I get a nice little stretch in that area. Okay, so pull together, keep pulling together, and notice that if you arch your back up like a cat, you might have less range, but you get a better stretch in the target area. So arch up, pull your hands together. Okay, let's do 3 more. Pull together, keep pulling together. Okay, here we go. And 1 more. Super. So that was a stretch for our chest muscles. We're going to go to the back of our arms and on the back of our scapula. So we're going to be in a similar position, but we're going to go in a different direction. So instead of our hands pulling together, our hands are going to pull back towards our knees. As I pull back, I'm going to continue to pull back and sit back, stretching the back of our arms and the back of our scapula. Start again. Pull your hands back. You can probably see the mat buckling up as I pull my hands back towards my knees and sit back. Go back to the starting position. Pull your hands back. Keep pulling your hands back. My elbows are bending slightly, and they're going out to the side. I'll come forward so you can see that a little better. Start position, I pull my hands back, my elbows are bent, and they naturally kind of want to go out to the side while we stretch the posterior part of our arms and our shoulders. Let's do a couple more. You can probably feel your body heating up on this stretch. Turns on your external immune system. This is good for your skin, hair, and nails. Here we go, couple more. Okay, one more. Great. We're going to stay in our upper body. We're also going to stretch our chest out again, but in a different way. It's called reverse plank. And I'll do two versions. This is the first version. Fingers pointing forward, elbows bent. And what I want to do is put all the weight of my upper body down through my arms and my hands, pressing into the mat and externally rotating my hands. So they're going to be they want to turn out, but because of the weight of my body, they're going to stay on the mat, turn out. And as I turn out and straighten my arms, I'm going to arch up. Now you're going to feel this stretch in your wrists, forearms, and eventually you're going to feel it up in your chest. So starting position, I'm bent, arms, my hands are pushing down, externally rotating, and as they straighten out, my chest opens up. We're getting a stretch in our chest, forearms, and biceps. Start position, press down, push down, externally rotate, keep externally rotating. Okay, so that's the first version. Second version is just simply the same thing with your arms, but what we're going to do is as we push down, externally rotate, we're going to lift our butts up, and it'll get a little better stretch in our chest. Again, start down, elbows bent, press down, straighten your arms up. Let's do one more of these. Press our hands down into the ground, externally rotate, open up. All right, cool. Let's go back into our legs. And we're going to stretch our IT band and our adductors. First, our IT band. We're going to lie on our back. We're going to cross our legs over. My target muscle is going to be my left IT band. My left foot's kicking into my right knee. I'm reaching in between my leg and grabbing the back of my thigh. Kicking my left foot into my right knee and pull myself in. You get a really nice stretch back here in your glutes. Relax, go out to the starting position. Push my left foot into my right leg. Keep doing that while we pull in. Again, resist pushing your left foot into your right knee. And don't worry about the range of motion. You don't have to go very far to get a stretch. Push away. Here we go. Let's do a couple more. Contract in the beginning. And pull in. Contract, pushing your left foot away into your right knee. Cool. Now, instead of switching legs, we're going to stay on the same leg, and we're going to stretch our adductor on the left leg to balance that out. So, I like to bend my left knee. My left foot's pressing down into the ground, scissoring my legs together. And as I create that contraction, I bend forward and feel the stretch on the inside of my leg. I relax, I come back. Start again, press my leg down. My adductor contracts as I bend forward. I go back to my starting position. A good thing to do in this position is tuck your tailbone under. So extend your pelvis, tuck your tailbone under, and you'll have less range of motion, but you'll get a better stretch in your adductor. You'll see that more of your adductor starts to contract. Start position, drive my leg down, extend my pelvis. Okay. We have some options about where we bend forward, so we can start again, drive our leg down, contract our adductor, and we can bend away from the stretch. Okay? We can start again and bend into the stretch. We can start again and bend straight forward. All three directions will get a different aspect of your adductor. Okay, let's do that one more time. How y'all doing out there? Great. Now we're going to go back to our IT band, same leg. Crisscross your legs. Start position. Notice you have a little more space. It's a little more comfortable to be in the position. Push your foot away into your right thigh and pull together. That's it. We'll do like 4 or 5. Notice it should be a little easier for most of you. A better range of motion, better contraction in the beginning. Okay. Resist in the beginning, continue to resist throughout the stretch. Here we go. One more, push away. Okay. Now let's stretch our right IT band. Okay. So I'm crossing my right foot in front of my left thigh. I'm reaching through and grabbing the back of my left thigh, interlocking both hands. So the start position is with your arms as long as they can go. Kicking my right foot into my left thigh. Continue to press in while I pull in and get a stretch on the outside of my right IT band. Kick out, keep kicking out, and resist and pull in. Start position, kick your foot into your thigh. Keep kicking your foot into your thigh as you pull in with your hands. Okay, let's do a few more. Kick your foot into your thigh, resist, and stretch. Great. Now let's balance that out with our adductor stretch. This will be for our right leg. Again, I like to bend my knee slightly. You can try with your knee straight or bent, whichever is more comfortable. Kick my foot down, contracting my adductor while I bend forward. Super. Come back to the starting position. Press your foot down. I'm tucking my tailbone under, extending my pelvis, and getting a really nice stretch in my adductor here. Contract, tuck your tailbone, and now I'm going to move away from the stretch. Again, back to the starting position, drive my foot down to produce a contraction in your adductor, and I'm going to bend away. These next 3 I'm going to bend forward and into the stretch while I contract my adductor. Okay, drive your foot down. Your legs are going to feel like they want to scissor together. Maintain that while you bend forward. Drive your leg down. It's a good idea to put your hand on the muscle that you're stretching so you can feel where it's contracting, where it's tight. Drive down your foot, Bend forward. Let's do one more. Drive our foot down. Keep driving our foot down while we maintain the contraction and stretch through the contraction and bend forward. Super. And now let's test out the IT band after we just stretch the balancing muscle on the inside. A little better position. Yep, a little more force to start the beginning of my stretch. Push my right foot into my left thigh and pull back. Cool. Let's do a few more of these. Press your foot into your left thigh. And I have a little more sensation on the outside of my leg after stretching our adductors. Cool. Here we go. And let's do two more. Press away. Kick your foot into your thigh while you pull your leg into your chest. Super. All right. Now let's move back into our upper body. Okay, we're going to do a stretch that was similar to the stretch we did before for our skin, but we're going to do a rotation. So starting position, shoulders over your hands, pull your hands back towards your knees, and as you sit back, think of it like you're starting at 6 o'clock. And now let's go counterclockwise, continuing the tension in our arms, and go to 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and continue to move our hands in the direction of where our heads are going. So now I'm at high noon. I'm going to 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Okay. This is a great stretch for the shoulder joints. Take tension out of your upper arms. Now after one revolution, let's reverse direction. Start at 6 o'clock, pull towards you, and go clockwise to 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Keep moving your hands in the direction of the circle, going clockwise this time. We're at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, back to 6. Let's reverse it one more time around. Starting at 6, I'm pulling my hands towards my knees, tensing my arms. This time around, I'm getting better tension in my upper arms and my shoulders. Counterclockwise at 3, 2, 1, up at high noon. Coming around, going to 9 o'clock. Back down to 6, and we're going to reverse it one more time. Pull back towards 6 o'clock, go to 7, 8. It's challenging to keep both your hands going in the same direction, but it gets easier as you do more reps. We're at 2, 3, coming back around to 6 o'clock, 4, 5, and 6. Super. So that's a nice stretch for your shoulders. Should feel a little looser. What we're going to do now is go back into our hamstrings, and we're going to start with the stretch we began with, and we're going to add to it. So we're going to start with our left hamstring as a target. We're going to do about 4 or 5 reps as we kick at the beginning of the stretch and lengthen. Kick in the beginning of the stretch. Keep the contraction in your hamstring. Kick back. Notice it's a little easier than when we started the class. Have a little more space in your upper body and in your waist. Let's do one more rep. Okay, and then we go right from a kneeling lunge into a triangle pose. We start with a weight over our front foot. As we bend our back leg and lean back, we stretch our hamstring closer to our pelvis. Bend the back leg, contract the front leg, and sit back. Okay. We're scissoring our legs and we're bending the back leg to produce this stretch in our front leg. So the target muscle is my left hamstring. And I can feel a little higher up here. Do a couple more. If you arch up and extend your pelvis, again, you'll have a little less range, but a better stretch in your target muscle. Let's do one more. Okay, cool. Now, same leg, we're going to stretch the medial hamstring, and I'm going to reach on the outside of my foot, on the inside of my knee, kick my heel down, and as I do that, I'm going to pull up, and this medial hamstring is stretching right now. Kick your heel down, pull up with your hand, and you'll feel your medial hamstring stretching. Let's do a few more. All right, great. So before we do the other leg, let's just stand up for a moment. Okay? And I want you to do a little heel kick up to your glutes. Do it with the leg we just stretched. Feel that. And do it with the other leg. And feel that. You can see the leg that we just stretched has better ability to contract and fire. That's what this stretching technique does. Produces more flexibility and greater strength and quickness. So now let's do our right leg. Get down in our lunge position. Kick your heel back and lengthen. Kick your heel back. Keep kicking your heel back. Stretch that hamstring. Kick back. Continue to kick back. Here we go. Kick back. Keep the contraction while you lengthen. Let's do two more. Kick back. Okay. Kick back to begin. Continue while you lengthen. Now let's go right to our triangle pose. Start with our body weight over our front foot. As we bend our back leg and sit back on our front leg, we get a stretch a little higher up in the hamstring. Kick your leg back, bend your back knee forward. Okay? Kick your heel back. I have a slight bend in my front knee. Think of your hamstrings like the bicep of your leg. And you would never train your bicep with a straight arm, so you want to train your hamstrings with a slightly bent knee to get a better contraction. Okay, two more. Here we go. Cool. Now let's go down on our back and do our medial hamstring stretch. Going to reach inside my knee, outside my foot. Kick my heel down into my groin. Resist and pull up and stretch the medial hamstring. Kick down. You're all getting a good workout. Kick your heel down. Here we go. Kick your heel down. Keep kicking down. Let's do three more. Kick down. Here we go. And this is getting our medial hamstring. Contract, resist, pull up. Here we go. Kick down. Cool. Last stretch. It was going to be for our lats and the top of our shoulder. So I'm going to do it on an angle here so you can see my start position. Elbows down, hands down. I'm pressing down into the mat and pulling back towards my legs. As I do that, I'm going to sit back and get a stretch in my lat muscles. Start position, press my hands down into the mat. My elbows are going back toward my knees. Okay. Again, start position, contract, sit back and stretch your lat muscles. Let's do 2 more. And our last stretch begins here, again pressing our hands down but away from our body. Keep contracting as you lean forward. Relax, come back to the starting position. Press your forearms down into the mat and away from you. Okay, let's do 2 more. Press your hands down into the mat and away from you. Okay, 1 more. Press down. Cool. Wow, great work, everybody. Thank you, and we'll see you next time at Bendable Body.